Is it somebody right on my core? This is the moment you're meant to know.
Like time through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Well, hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Flipping the hourglass. However, do you hear that? I hope you guys can hear that. Anyway, how are you guys today? I'm here to talk about Young Miami. She has made her way back in the scenes. Well, she's been around since maybe I'll say the last 2 months when she had released her song Spin That, which is allegedly the song of the summer, even though summer literally just started. Anyway, I'm a bit puzzled about that. But hey, her song allegedly comes from the movie I Love Boosters. However, it is getting a backlash because people are feeling as though Young Miami is still promoting city girl music, and because she's promoting that lifestyle of spin that and basically boosting, which let me look up what boosters is, since now I have to see what a booster is. Meaning, slang. Booster primarily refers to a shoplifter or professional thief. Well, me, oh my, oh dear. I can see exactly why people would have a problem with, Miami promoting theft within the community, especially after Carmelo Anthony. Do I need to say less? And other things that we've had to have happen, BLM, anybody? So because of that, they feel as though that all this boosting, can we keep that same energy though? With the movie I Love Boosters, how are you guys feeling about that movie with Keke Palmer? Please do tell me, because if that's the case, I need the energy to be the same for Young Miami, for Boosters, since the song that she made was for a particular movie allegedly. And I will double check. Right here on Google just to make sure. Is Young Miami's song Spin That for the movies I Love Boosters? Yes, it is heavily tied to the movie. So because of that, I would like the energy to be kept the same. Anyway, that being said, Young Miami is back at the red carpet at the BET Awards. Let's talk about her BET presentation. She was at the BET Awards. She presented the BET Her Awards, and when she walked on stage, everyone was singing not boosters, Spin That. Everybody was singing Spin That as she walked on stage. It was playing in the background. Honestly, they didn't even need the background track. Everybody in the audience understood the assignment, and they were singing Spin That. Young Miami didn't even stop them. She took her flowers gracefully. BET, like I said, the BET Awards this year was like a healing moment. And however, all that being said, talking about being healing, we'll talk about Young Miami, talk about Spin That and theft. How is that healing for the community? Well, it's healing because Young Miami is finally coming back after Diddy, and you guys don't want to seem to let her catch a break from Diddy, because you didn't want Diddy to catch a break either. So everybody that was attached to Diddy, you don't want them to catch a break. So let's make sure Young Miami can't catch a break. However, Spin That has actually made it in the debut 100 songs or hits. So because of that, her song, she's dropping an album, her debut album this year. So 2026 is Young Miami's comeback. She is finally coming from underneath the rock and facing the audience. And how was she met? By cheering song, singing it was like a mini concert as she walked out there. Everybody loved Young Miami. So because of that, for that, I could honestly believe that Spin That is the song of the year. I mean, not song of the year, song of the summer. But please do tell me, if it was put out 2 months ago, why has it not been nominated for BET Awards? I'm just saying, I'm not sure if they had enough time to get it, time to get put into the catalogs and then get voted and things like that for people to even vote for it, because you know people are feeling for Young Miami, or maybe it really was just the fact that people wasn't feeling Young Miami like that and they just did not decide to put her in the category. I don't know. I really don't know. But the baby talked to her on the red carpet saying that he is ready to work with Young Miami whenever. She just got to come to him. And she said that she didn't want to say anything because she wasn't sure herself, but maybe that is a tease, hint hint, wink wink, that they might be collaborating on her debut album. But also Miami has teased that she would like Drake, the Iceman, to be on the Spin That remix. So it sounds like Spin That is getting a remix. Spin That is getting a remix. However, I'm here to talk about what India Irie has to say, because she is one of the big voices out there that people are pointing out to showcase the backlash that Young Miami is getting for her song. So first off, Young Miami had to clarify. She said, for clarity, I did not say that I think anyone needs to boycott this song. I said it is a sign of where we are as a culture that this song has been accepted so widely, and that's facts. I think people should do whatever they want. You should do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. I'll do what I want to do, and that's that. Meanwhile, all I said that the way we are embracing the song says a lot about where we are as a culture, which is just facts. So because of that, that's what India Irie had to say about that. And that is the huge sentiment of how people are feeling, because like I said, boosting is all about theft. And let's not just forget that we just had this huge case that people really felt was a whole racial injustice and was not a peer, a jury of peers. So there's a whole lot of controversy going on. And here Young Miami goes promoting city girl music still, as if people feel like she hasn't learned her lesson from Diddy, and she should be changing up who she is and rebranding herself. But hey, let's give her a chance, guys. Let's see what Young Miami is going to bring, even though it seems like it's the same stuff. You know, Meg Thee Stallion worked her rebrand, and she's still saying about the same stuff. So let's see what Young Miami can bring. And that's exactly why I'm here to pull some cards, to really see behind the scenes. What do I want to know behind the scenes? Because I don't want to know about her album. I just want to know, how is Young Miami doing this year? Like, is this going to be her year? Is this her finally blossoming and opening up, and she's finally in her era? You get that BET her a reference? First off, we went with the Nine of Swords, which I wasn't expecting. So let's see if there's a block card. I feel like this one needs a block. The Seven of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, the Strength, the Fool, and the Page of Pentacles. Well, honestly, the Nine of Swords honestly makes sense now that I think about it and see the rest of the cards in play. Because what is the block for the Nine of Swords? For the Nine of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is a stagnation in her career. That is her block. That is giving her the Nine of Swords. That is giving her the worry, the angst, the confusion, the just wondering, trying to figure out where's her place in the industry, where did she go wrong, question, reflect on herself. She is a mama after all, and she's just trying to look out for her kids. So like all those different things is like the Nine of Swords, and maybe she got lost in the sauce and the city girl stuff. But also JT too got in trouble for some credit card theft. So because of that, they too are credit card theft, boosting. They almost seem similar, if you ask me. I'm not sure. I'm not a part of that game, but just in that sense, it almost just feels like it's all city girl behavior, even though we should not be promoting that stuff in the culture. Yes, I get that. But this is still Young Miami's brand. But she's got to start from where she was from the beginning and retwist it. And that's where the Seven of Pentacles comes in. It's the period of trying to figure out how to rebrand and retwist it. Will her album come out this summer? She says so. The summer could be August, or maybe it could be at the very end of the summer where we're pushing September. So because of that, all those different things, the summer is quite a while. We just started. We're not, I don't even think we're 2 weeks deep into, we're approaching 2 weeks into the new season. So because of that, we're just still freshly in the season. Summer still got to wait. So because of that, the Seven of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords symbolizes it. She teased it. She says the album's coming this summer. You know it's in the works. Seven of Pentacles, but Nine of Swords. That worry of how am I going to be received? Are people going to receive me? This backlash that I'm receiving, and this is supposed to be a taste or a snippet or a teaser for my album, and it's being badly received. How they're going to receive my album when it does come out. So now it's like in the weird state phase of how do I promote myself when I know I'm kind of in this hated, judged phase. So because of that, that's all those different things of how do I get my music out there? How do I push through it, push away the tears, wipe away the sweat, cover up the bruises, and look like perfect girl. Like I have no problems, that I'm pushing through this, smooth sailing. She's trying to figure out how to pick herself back up after falling down. Like they say, your crown fell, queen. So you need to pick your crown back up. And that's exactly what she's trying to do. But yet we here have the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords usually symbolizes the perspective that you're looking at it from. And that Eight of Swords is her foundation. And where is she right now? The Nine of Swords, which is the elevation from the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is like the foundation. So we're growing into the Nine of Swords, which is exactly why the problem is the Seven of Pentacles, because the Seven of Pentacles, which usually is representing your foundation and how your soil is going to turn out, is right here, the Eight of Swords. So this is all, but that could always be good, because that could all be stemming from the fact that maybe Young Miami is trying to change her perspective. Maybe she was once blind and now she's taking off the blindfold. However, we have here in the past is the Strength card, which is, like I said, queen, pick that crown back up. That's exactly what she's doing. She's founding her strength. She's regaining her strength, her balance, her stride. And she's coming out as the Fool, ready to start this new, fresh path, regardless of the Eight of Swords, regardless of the Nine of Swords, regardless of how she's feeling, Seven of Pentacles, regardless of the blocks, regardless of the people trying to come up against my happiness, my success, how I'm feeling, I'm living my moment. Haters are going to hate, haterade, all those different things she's telling herself, the Fool, as she's going through this journey. We're met with the Page of Pentacles, which is really great when talking about a career and how her career is going to go when it comes towards this album, but also just shows you how we have four cards, honestly, that are very conflicting. Four cards that together, if you put them in pairs, so split the cards in half, two each, they seem to be telling a very interesting story. One pair being the Major Arcana, which is the Fool and the Strength, which symbolizes a triumph, and they're triumphing over what the Minor Arcanas, which is the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords, which are all down in the dumps. But the Eight of Swords shows you that you have that inner strength, that resilience to always overcome any obstacle and challenge that comes up against you. So therefore, now she's the Fool. She has realized that. She has came to that realization. However, that Eight of Swords is still within her Nine of Swords energy. So it's like trying to overcome those thoughts, overcome those negative energies, especially when you're coming out and you hear the backlash, and it's hard to not want to play into those things, especially when you know the temperament and what's going on, and everybody just wants love and peace these days. So they're really trying to crack down on the type of music. But like I said, if that's the case, can we keep the same energy for every artist out here? Like, we have a problem with every artist out here singing about sex, drugs, and money. Let's come for Meg Thee Stallion. Let's come for Cardi B. Let's come for Nicki Minaj. Let's come for Sukiyana. Let's come for Sexy Red. So like I said, let's keep the same energy here if we want to come for Young Miami, promoting a certain lifestyle, which is that city girl lifestyle. So because of that, like I said, I just feel like people just don't want to. It just seems like people, not me. It just seems like people don't want to let her catch a break because of the whole Diddy thing. Because that's why. That's the only reason why I could see why we are just not giving the same energy to every other celebrity out here that is pretty much shaking cheeks in our faces. So because of that, it's like we can dress pretty much naked, but we can't talk about sex, drugs, and money. Can we pick our battles? But anyway, here with Young Miami, all that aside of what's going on, challenging up against her, it's the industry. It is what it is. The fool. She's trying to come out on the other side, stronger, badder, better. So because of that, that's where this Page of Pentacles comes in. Still in the very beginnings of the craft, because this is her debut album after all. So she's getting back into the game. She's giving a brand new, fresh side of herself, something different. I don't know how different, but it's something different because, like I said, I'm confused how she's suddenly coming out with a debut album after all these years. I thought she had came out with a debut album when her and JT pretty much split from the City Girls and she was making her own solo music. I thought she had came out with at least a debut EP, but no, we haven't gotten none of that. So because of that, this is something completely new. This is like Young Miami post City Girls. So because of this, let's see what this is going to be for Young Miami. So I'm going to pull some outside influence cards to see if this album's going to be like a rebrand for her. Now that we see all the cards that are how Young Miami is feeling with the backlash, with the spin that, because her album hasn't came out yet. In the future symbolizes when or if that album does come out. It's the Page of Pentacles. It's a prize. It's a presenting. But it's awkward. The page of Pentacles is always that awkwardness, that growing. You know how they say when you're going through that growing phase, there's always that awkward period of when you're trying to get everything together because it's like you finally got it all together, but you don't have it all quite together. So it's trying to figure out how to put the pieces all together because you finally have acquired it all. And after acquiring it all, it's all scrambled. So then you got to decipher and sort through that kind of energy, Page of Pentacles. And that's where Young Miami is with this debut album. She's still searching for her identity. She hasn't fully found it yet, but she's found it enough that she is willing to make an album. So maybe this album's going to be a journey. But like I said, I want to know, with these cards and her album, I just want to know the surroundingness of it. We have a message of concern. We have a theft. Oh, we have a booster. I'm sorry, guys. That was a terrible joke. And then we have expectation. Sorry. And then we have a gift. Still polarizing. We have a message of concern and a theft. Yikes. But then on the flip side, we have an expectation and a gift. An expectation can be both good or bad depending on what the expectation is. Like they say, depending on where the bar is. If the bar is already set pretty low for Young Miami, the expectations are low for her. So if she comes out overshooting that bar, well then, or if people are like really setting this bar high for Young Miami, then it could be that the expectations for her might be a little bit too hard to live up to. Like I said, depending on where that bar is, the expectation could be both good or bad. But what do I see here at the end is a very gift. So I would only be able to see that the expectation would, from Young Miami's end, feel as giving a gift, because how I'm feeling with her, how she's feeling with her personal identity. Now that I had dug a little bit deeper into the Page of Pentacles, I really want to know how's this album and this identity and the whole Diddy, how's this changed or molded this new Young Miami that we have. And the first card that came out was a message of concern, which is exactly that. It is a concern, but it's a message. So that means that she's receiving it and it has concerned her, or a message has been conveyed that there is a worry, and that's the general audience and the public talking about how they're backlash and they aren't receiving it. So now that has been relayed back to her. So now she has to sit and deal with it. Like you don't know what the message is until you read it. So the message of concern, the message is concerning, yes, and that made you concerned. So the message is concerning. You understand how that message works. So because of that, that's why this album, this reputation, the new Young Miami is all shaky. It's like on shaky grounds, but there's still strength there. But we have a thief here. It almost feels like people are trying to steal her joy, or it feels as though she might. I'm not trying to play here games with Young Miami. I'm not trying to say that maybe like she feels as though life has been trying to steal things from her. Every time she tries to get something always comes up against her happiness. Like that's the kind of vibe that I'm getting. But I'm not trying to portray Young Miami as a victim here. However, yes, when we look on the next side, we see the expectation. And the expectation is the expectation she could have within inside of herself, the expectation to perform and to debut this new version of herself. And therefore, this is going to be a gift that she is going to be giving us, something that she's going to craft is going to be like her baby. Like I said, Page of Pentacles, but metaphorically, but it's awkward for her because it's awkward. It's everything right now is awkward. It's just, she's trying to find her bearings and footings. And when you're trying to do that, that's concerning because you never know the temperament. One day they love you, one day you hate you. You're like on a tightrope and you're just trying to dance to everybody's tune. So because of that, she's trying to make her way back into the industry. All that's paired with, like I said, all that can make you the 8 of Swords and then the 9 of Swords. And that can all put a block on your creative energy and creative juices. Or maybe just even your joy to want to even promote your album. Or maybe it makes you question, incite, and doubt yourself. I have no idea. So because of that, all those things are the things that Young Miami are going to be working through and fighting with. This message of concern has definitely woken that up in her. But the BET Awards was maybe it was beyond her expectation. I don't know. But she was able to finally see that, well, charts can't lie, numbers don't lie. Spin That is successful. It is that song, and everybody says it's the song of the summer. So because of that, Young Miami has made her comeback despite all the backlash that is coming up against her. But in concerning of this album and who this new Young Miami is, it's all, I don't want to say up in the air. It's all a work in a progress. You're going to see me unfold the more you get to know me because I'm slowly blossoming and blooming and opening up before your eyes. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting. Like, a butterfly kind of energy when you see a butterfly. Weirdly enough, I just watched a video of a caterpillar to growing out of a cocoon, and then out of growing from the cocoon, watching the wings of the butterfly grow into full length. So because of that, I watched the speed lapse today of the growing and blooming and blossoming of the life of a butterfly. So because of that, it almost feels symbolic of what's going through with Young Miami when it comes to this album. It's beautiful transformation, yes, you could say that, but the fact that the transformation that's happening within inside of herself is slowly being unveiled in real time, and we are just along on the journey. She's just bringing us along on the journey. She could have kept herself back in the limelight, out of the limelight, but she wants to bring herself back into the limelight because she feels like she's ready. She feels as though she can balance and maintain the two, that she gave some time and sat some time out. And while she did a little time out from Diddy, she did some assessing and reassessing within inside of herself. And now she's ready. And now that the temperament has kind of cooled down, some other things happened to gloss over the Diddy case this summer. It's like a year later. So all those things you got to think about. Actually, that's really weird. Why is it that 2 summers back to back, there were like really big trial cases within the Black community? That's a bit suspicious. But anyway, all that being said, that was all that was going on with Young Miami. I don't even want to pull cards, but should I pull some cards? Okay, I will pull some cards. How does Young Miami feel for Diddy? I'm sorry, I have to be petty and ask. How's Young Miami's relationship with Diddy? We have a community. Okay. She's still supportive, whether it's from a distance or whether it's from the sidelines. She is still within his life, within his facility, within his bubble. That's interesting to know. Next thing I want to know, it wouldn't be a city girl reading without talking about the other city girl. How's her relationship with JT? Are they cool? Are they no longer city girls? Have they gone their separate ways? Just what's going on between them? Well, we see an anchor. There could be a sense of trying to anchor each other down, try to get some times. Maybe their schedules are not allowing them to meet up after all these years. It can be like that when you're famous within the industry. Then one spends some jail time, like 24 months, and then has to do parole. So all those different things can add up to the struggles of making music together. So because of that, I'll give JT some slack. But what I see here is there's an anchor, which definitely, and the anchor isn't anchored. So because of that, it's like wanting a solid relationship, but the solid relationship isn't coming to fruition. But it's like throwing out the fishing line and hoping something snags. That's the kind of energy she's they like try to reach out, but I don't see a solid relationship. What was once there isn't as solid as it once was. So next thing that I want to know about Young Miami, I've talked about her identity. I've talked about her album. I've talked about Diddy, and I've talked about JT. Next thing I want to know is Young Miami out there really willing to go and date? Is she in the dating scene? We have toil and labor, which definitely seems like no. She's too busy focused on working. She's working and focusing on herself. When you're focusing on yourself, doing inner work and working on your outer life, like job and things like that, it's hard to try to fit in a relationship. So that work and that toil and labor could simply mean just don't have the time to incorporate that yet, as she's still trying to bring the balance and everything back into balance in her life. And honestly, maybe a relationship which is beginning in the way as she's trying to get out there again, because maybe people are going to compare him to Diddy. I don't know. But all that being said, that's that. So next thing that I want to know is just curiosity. Does Young Miami have the potential to be a big star again? I know the albums are saying that she is, but will she be able to reach the city girl status? I'm not sure if she has beat city girls on her own, if she hasn't already, but I just want to know, will she be able to attain that type of status? Who can I compare her to outside of that? Yeah, since they did a collaboration with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, can Young Miami get back to that level? I mean, yeah, she's doing collaborations with the baby. I don't think I have to say more about that. So because of that, you really got to question the company that Young Miami is keeping around her. So all that being said, I want to know, can she make a comeback? We see a child here, which brings back the Page of Pentacles, which brings back to the Fool, which all symbolizes a beginning, a fresh start, starting all over again, fresh and new. So it definitely seems like she has the potential, but she's in the beginning stages, so it's really hard to tell. Beginning stage, it's a rebrand. It's definitely a rebrand that I'm seeing in the cards, for sure. So because of that, with this rebrand, we have to see how the rebrand works in time to determine if this version of Young Miami is going to stay for a while. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I sure did. I just wanted to pull some rapid fire cards, question cards on that before I headed out, so that way everybody seemed to get their questions answered about Young Miami. I tried to think of questions that people would want to know. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure did. That being said, leave your comments down below. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. It really mean a lot to the channel. Please and thank you. Become a sunflower and spread those beautiful sunflower seeds all over the earth, because God knows we desperately need it. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. And you know what I say before I go? Hype us up. Subscribe to us. And don't forget to thumbs up. Sunflowers.